Hola tribe. So today I had a conversation with a really dear friend of mine. And she was struggling to deal with the situation that had come across her table, I guess, her way. But a friend that she loves very, very much. And this friend was in a situation that didn't need to happen, but it happened. It happened. I don't want to say shouldn't have happened. More so, it was a game of energy. And it really struck a chord for me. Because in all of my years and all the work that I've done, this one chord of energy that is in me is one that I constantly remind myself that I am love. That I am love. And that I am worthy of beautiful love. I think all of us struggle to accept that. We all struggle to accept that love. I do all the time. I have amazing friends. People who love me so much. And there are times I struggle to resist it as if I'm not worthy of receiving that level and depth of love. Not just from them, but from all of humanity. Right? All of it. So, the story that I was told of was a woman who is pregnant, who, it might trigger you as well, and I don't wish to so much trigger you with it. However, but the woman is pregnant and she's in a relationship, and the partner in the relationship didn't respect her personal needs that she had requested. And when she brought it to their attention, they got violent, right? And I don't know what level of violent, it doesn't matter what level of violent, hands were placed upon the other person in anger. So my friend and I were talking about this. And in this discussion, it was, what is that? What is that within a human being that believes it's acceptable and okay? It's going to sound crazy. It's that other being, the opposing energy, deemed themselves expendable on some level. That opposing energy deemed itself expendable. So we're in discussion about it. And this was the best example I could give her. I said, at the moment in time when she made the request and the request wasn't fulfilled, instead of choosing to be next to this person, she should have removed herself completely and let that person feel the pain and lack of her presence being there. Would she get punished in that situation? On some level, she would have been punished. However, it's not really a punishment. It's denying yourself something you want, but you wouldn't have gotten it anyway. You wouldn't have gotten what you wanted from this person regardless. So you can't force their hand. And forcing their hand, she got what she got in telling them that she didn't respect herself enough to remove herself from the situation. I'm going to hear some flack about this, I'm sure. However, being, goodness me, the first word I heard was victim. No. However, at the time, would one deem me a victim of a situation? I'm sure. However, having been in an abusive relationship and done the work around abuse and allowing other people to abuse self, I have a pretty big voice in this. So let's break it down. You make a request to a human being. You say, these are my boundaries. This is what I ask of you. Please respect this. The other person willingly denies that respect, does their own thing, ignores your request. Do you still lay in bed next to them? Do you? Do you? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Even though I would be upset with the fact that I had to sleep somewhere other than my own bed, especially if there wasn't a second bed, etc., etc., etc. However, I personally would remove myself and not allow that human being to be next to me. Make them feel the lack of my presence there. If, for any good reason, they didn't respond to that lack of presence, if they didn't acknowledge that there was a lack of presence, or they wished it didn't happen, or even confront it on some level, huge red flags, huge. Makes you say, do I ever lay next to this person again? However, if that person comes forward, most likely at the time of the moment it happening, you removing yourself, will be enough, and that person comes to you and discussions are had, blah, blah, blah. That's powerful. That's self-love. That's self-love and acknowledging your own personal worth and your own personal boundaries. That's important. That is highly, highly important. Now, if you make your request and you still choose to lay in bed next to that person after they've already 100% disrespected you, did not acknowledge what it is you've requested, denied it, insulted you, simply by proceeding forward without acknowledging what you had asked and doing it in spite of. You chose. You chose to lay next to a human being that brought spite to the situation, who did not respect you to begin with. What do you think that's going to create? What do you think that's going to create? By no means does a human being have the right to put their hands upon you out of anger, spite, or hate. No. However, you make that request, it's denied. You choose to lay next to that person. That energy right there acknowledges your lack of self-worth and lack of self-love. This person now feels that lack, consciously, unconsciously. You have deemed yourself expendable. Your energy is expendable. Effing crazy, right? Expendable. That person now will treat you as if you were expendable, which is what happened. Again, I'm not saying that the person had any right to place their hands upon this person. However, that's what you're saying. most people would not know. I guess I'm assuming most people would not know. However, what seems like a lifetime ago, yet I live with the repercussions of this moment every day of my life. So, that which seems like a lifetime ago is present every day. Every time I want to move, take a step, I'll say, I am reminded. So I was in an abusive relationship, my first real relationship. It was abusive, and I came from abuse. I came from a childhood home of abuse. So why would I not think that's love? It's crazy, but it's true, right? When you live in violence and know that you are still loved by the people who are treating you violently, you associate it. Even when you know it's not true, even when you know that how they're treating you is not lovingly, there's a part of your system that associates it with love. Just is. So, I was in a relationship where things progressed. You know, it started with shoving and pushing and blah, 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 all that good jazz. And I would ask them to stop. And wouldn't, it just kept progressing. And a couple years into the relationship, I finally, this little voice inside of my head went, you were not raised to be like this. You were not raised for someone to lay their hands on you and for you to just to take it. So my egoic self decided tit for tat. I will show them what it feels like. Silly. Don't do this. Don't do this. Okay? Doesn't work. Doesn't work. You shove me, I shove you. You hit me, I hit you. How do you like it? And literally, it would be exact tit for tat. If they placed their hands on my shoulders to shove me, I placed my hands on the shoulders to shove them. If they, whatever silliness was taking place, if they did it, I would do my best to identically replicate it back to them and go, how do you like it? Stop doing it to me. Stop doing it to me. Well, because I was showing levels of strength, this made them want to control me more. So little shoves became punches, right? Became tossing across the room, came across dislocating jaws, you know, lots of violence, leading up to one day. The day. Woo! The day when this human being hated themselves so much that they wanted to kill themselves. And as they went to go and look for something to kill themselves, I got up to stop them. Silly, right? Love is funny. Artificial love, right? Attachment love. Codependent love. That ain't love. None of those things are love. That's the illusion of love. Love is free. Love is everything. It's endless. Endless. So, as I get up to stop them from harming themselves, they toss me across the room. And I, of course, being too strong to fall, and quite heavy at the time. I was at my heaviest in life at that time. I refused to fall, and I hyperextended my kneecap, so my knee went in the opposite direction, and my femur crushed my tibia. And I have, well, I don't want to dare say permanent, however, potentially permanent limp. Huh. So, when we compromise our self-worth, right? When we let other people believe or accept less than, they'll treat us with less than. They will treat us with less than. One of my favorite quotes ever, and it helped me tremendously through my healing process. The book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, was the book that I found immediately after this injury, and it changed my life forever. There were some days that I would read one line, and I would sit and analyze my life and all the many ways I would show up based off of that one perception. I dare you to read one line of something and spend your whole entire day, your week, analyzing and seeing and studying how that one piece of perception could impact your whole life differently, or how you show up based off that one thing. And there were so many gems in this book. I mean, you can't even, countless amounts of gems. However, the line, we allow others to abuse us as much as we abuse ourselves. We allow others to abuse us as much as we abuse ourselves. I challenge you to own that truth. Look at your life. And if you don't like how you're being treated, do the work. It's you. It's you that's abusing yourself. It's you. And then you change your boundaries. All right, peace, y'all. Love you. Bye.